Hi there. So this week I decided to choose for my topics from Chapter 6, Entering Long-Term Memory, The Need for Engagement, and from Chapter 7, Amnesia. So to start with my topic from Chapter 6, it talks a lot about long-term memory and the need for engagement, or I guess you could say repetition or priming from previous chapters. I talked a lot about how those affect our long-term memory, and it talked a lot about the best way of learning. I feel like these chapters didn't cover that last bit as much as I wanted to. I would have loved for it to talk more about effective models of learning. Just as a college student, I feel like that'd be helpful. But also as a college student, I've kind of, I guess, figured out what works for me, and it is just that repetition priming, honestly. But so it talked a lot about, common day, everyday things you see, you do not put into long-term memory because you don't even bother noticing them. They're not important to you at this time. They don't serve a purpose, so why would you expend the effort to put them into your long-term memory? Imagine how much of a burden that would be to see every little thing and put it in your memory. I think that's a thing with obsessive compulsive disorders, that they remember everything because they think they have to, or at least their mind thinks they have to. Anyways, so as far as my personal experience with this, just even yesterday I got a phone call from a doctor who wanted me to call another doctor, and she gave me a phone number, and I was so worried about not remembering even the little 3, 4, I had to read it back to her and make sure she said, yes, that's right, because I didn't think my memory was long enough to get that just short string of numbers. And of course, it's not something you want to forget or have to call them back and get again. So I just thought that was a funny real life situation of exactly what we're reading about in some of these. Just stuff like that. You're only ever going to probably repeat it once and call it once, maybe twice. Your brain's just not going to expend the effort, and you're not probably going to expend the effort to put it into long-term memory. This might be different if it's a significant person in your life, or if, for work you call a number over and over and over again, then you might have a reason to remember those phone numbers. Otherwise, it's just a string of numbers that's probably not that important to you. So as far as the need for engagement, so I work with Photoshop and the Adobe Suite. I'm going to school to be a graphic designer. This class is just kind of a fun one. But anyways, so I have to remember on a daily basis how to use these programs. And they're complicated programs. There's lots of, every key on your keyboard will do something different. If you want to be good at it and be efficient at it, you have to know at least half of those, or else your job's going to be a lot more difficult. Doable, definitely, but difficult, and you're going to take a lot longer than you should, and it's probably not going to look very good when you're taking forever to do a simple task. So when I was first learning Photoshop, of course I didn't know any of these, and I guess I didn't want to expend the time to learn them, so I would do everything the long way. But as I learned more and spent more time with the program, I learned these shortcuts, and not just learned them, but memorized them, so that it was just a reflex that I need to do this thing, and my fingers just do what they need to do to make it happen. It's actually kind of cool once you get into it for a while, and then you realize, I'm just clicking all these random buttons, and it's doing exactly what I want, and anybody who's watching me right now would be completely confused, but it works. Because you've expended the time to memorize these, and on any computer you're given, you would be able to make this program work. Of course, it changes when they come out with updates, and they all have different shortcuts for all the jillion programs they have. It's a little annoying, but if you, like it says, if you're engaging with it every single day, even the different programs, once you've recognized what you're using, your long-term memory will come back and you'll be able to use these. What I have noticed though, during last semester, I really didn't do anything with graphic design, so trying to get back into it at any point, you kind of have forgotten a lot of them, and then you feel dumb for taking so much longer to do something that took you very little time previously. So I just thought that was interesting. And some things are like the saying, you know, it's like riding a bike. You just pick it up, and you're never gonna forget how to ride a bike, or at least hopefully not, because it's not that hard. But there are things that people do that you learn the muscle memory of it, and then it's just stuck. Like you're not gonna forget it, which is something else interesting. Of course, muscle memory is different, but I just thought of that. So anyways, so the next section I picked was amnesia because I thought it sounded cool. Now I'm realizing that I don't have any examples of it because I don't know anybody who has amnesia or stuff like that. But we'll talk about it anyways. And I'm not going to define stuff for you because the assignment says not to. But it talked about, you know, retrograde or anterograde. I probably got that wrong, but you know what I'm talking about because you read the chapter. So it gave a lot of interesting examples of people who have been affected by these and the coordinating parts of their brains that have been injured to create these certain deficits, I guess you could say, or this damage. I found it very interesting when they were talking about the Korsakoff syndrome, which is long-term drinkers. I had no clue that was a thing, but it does make sense when it explained it that, you know, if your brain's not getting nourished enough, you're gonna forget stuff, which is just crazy. And it's crazy that it's like a long-term thing. It's pretty sad. This part was just sad. But I found, let's see. Yeah, I guess on this part, just go read through it. The examples they give, including the demonstrations afterward, and some of the discussions afterwards on them, gives you really good understanding of what each type is, because there's a couple different types. And it'll just give you some good insight to it that I think will help with quizzes and the exam. Sorry, I don't know anybody who has amnesia. All I can think of is like when you like pass out, a lot of people don't remember what happened right before they passed out. Probably like lack of oxygen or something. But anyways, sorry, just go read this chapter. It's not hard to read because it's interesting. So anyways, good luck on the quizzes.